So do I start? Okay.
Yeah, when you're ready.
All right. Good morning. How are we today?
Yeah,
Good.
yes, I'm not too bad. I'm really getting affected by the bright mornings at 5 a.m. It's just really messing my sleep pattern up. I know it'll like normalize, but yeah, I'm wide awake at 5 and only getting 6 hours instead of the 7. But yeah, it's
It
having an
just helps
impact
to
now.
use a sleep mask if you can.
Yes, yeah, I think I'm going to get it from my daughter. She doesn't use hers anymore, so yeah,
Mhm.
it's kind of just like suddenly hit me. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit tired, but it's not too bad.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Right. So I'll just share my screen just so we have okay, so can we all see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So my name is Oluwatomisin Amida, but you can just call me Amida for short. So I'm a nutritionist, and I'm part of the Tier 2 weight management for Peterborough and Cambridgeshire. So what we're going to be looking at today is making healthy food choices. And I've just grouped this into two. So I'm just going to be talking about balanced diets and overall healthy eating in general. And lastly, how to read food labels, because I think this is quite important from the feedback that I've gotten so far with my patients, knowing how to shop smartly and how to pick healthier food options when shopping. So yeah, these are the two things we're going to be talking about today. So next up, so this is the balanced plate. I don't know if you've seen this before. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Right, so it basically just tells you how much you should be having for each food group. So with this plate, we usually call it the weight loss plate. So it's not just for weight loss only, it helps you to be able to have different variety of food groups into your plate. So it tells you to have 50% of fruit and vegetables. A quarter of your plate should have protein-rich foods, and then a quarter of your plate should have carbs. So do you think this is something you practice at the moment, or are you struggling?
Overall, yes, I do. I'm tending to have more fruit than vegetables, but I do try and aim for that. Yeah, I do try.
Okay, that's fine. And do you have this with your breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Do you think it's difficult to have this with breakfast or?
No, it's the opposite. It's easy to have it with breakfast.
Okay, and then you struggle with dinner.
Yes, it's the vegetable side, and I love to eat vegetables, but it's just the juggling with my lifestyle to do it. So I've kind of like altered things, and I'm getting these like bags of frozen vegetables, the
Okay.
mixed bags,
Yeah.
just ease really, and it's just quick, obviously, then to boil up. But fruit is no problem.
Okay. Yeah, that really helps, to be fair, especially when you have a busy lifestyle. I think having little Ziplocs, that can really help too as well. Just portioning out how much fruit or how much veg you want to have it in your meals each day, and then just transfer that from the fridge directly onto your plate or microwave it. So that really helps with ease. Right. So we have some tips here for having a balanced diet. So we should not follow a particular kind of diet because it's not sustainable, but having a balanced diet can help you throughout your whole lifetime. So the first thing to note is eating 5 portions of fruit and veg daily. And for the balance, I would say go for 2:3. So that's 2 fruits and 3 portions of vegetable. So is this something you aim for at the moment? So at least 5 portions?
Well, like I said, 5 portions definitely, but not on the veg side. So I need to get
Okay.
that balance.
Okay.
Okay. Back in. As I say,
Yeah.
it's more like to be 4 fruit, 1 veg at the moment.
Okay.
It's going to be
That's fine.
easy. Obviously, now it's getting warmer that I can have more salad ingredients, so I can put those back in. I do like carrot grated, and I do like tomatoes, lettuce, that sort of thing. But
Yeah, it's
that's
really
something I
good.
need to work on.
True. It's really good to have that balance with veg and fruits just because they have different nutrient composition. So you want to have all of that incorporated into your meals. And then for carbs, try to opt for fiber-rich carbs. So things like your white bread, for example, You want to have whole grain seeded bread instead, even your bagels too as well. So anything that has lots of fiber, so your oats, your whole grain, your seeds, you want to incorporate that for your carbohydrates. So that's because fiber keeps you full for longer, and it does help with a lot of things like bowel movement, and it helps to mop out excess cholesterol in the body. So the fiber does have a lot of benefits. And then for meat and means, so try to choose lean cuts for your protein. I don't know if you're vegetarian or you eat meat.
No, a meat eater.
Okay, you're a meat eater. Okay, that's fine. So choosing more of white meat instead and limiting the amount of red meat that you have. And for fish, I've noticed that some people can struggle with having 2 portions of fish every week. So it does help with your omega-3 fatty acids. So do you have fish, 2 portions of fish, do you think?
Yes. So I'm not a great fish eater, but I try and balance that with tuna. Does that count?
Yeah, tuna does count.
Yeah. So I
Tuna,
try and have
salmon, mackerel.
that, especially say in salads, or my daughter likes tuna and sweet corn pasta, so I'll make that for her with some cheese. So we have that twice a week at least.
Twice a week. That's good. So yeah, 2 portions really helpful, and it does help with your protein too as well. So yeah, that's good to incorporate. And then for dairy, so we should try to choose lower fat, lower sugar products where possible. So thinking of things like your yogurt and your milk, starting to have semi-skimmed or skimmed milk instead. And if you're also opting for dairy-free, like your oat milk or almond, try to have low sugar option. So I think I saw it in Aldi one day. So oat milk with low sugar. So that's still something to be mindful of, even if you're still having other forms of dairy instead. Yeah, so that's all about having a balanced diet. So some extra top tips that we have here on the next slide. So with alcohol intake, the measurements per week is 14 units of alcohol each week for both male and females. And then talking about the fiber, so 20 to 30 grams per day. And how do you think you measure out your fiber intake? Do you have an idea?
So I've just realised there's two of the ladies on the call. Maybe they might like to ask.
Yes, I
Okay.
was just going to say we've got Eileen and Rebecca, so don't feel the pressure, Pauline.
Ladies,
fine.
over to you.
You've given us a difficult question. I'd have no idea how to get
Okay.
out my fibre.
Okay,
I was going to
that's
ask you about Weetabix, though, what the take is with Weetabix, because I have them for my breakfast and thinking the fiber's good, but I don't know if it is generally considered a good cereal to have. 'Cause
Yeah,
I don't know if
Weetabix.
they add a lot of sugar, do they, to it? I'm not sure.
So it's important for you to check the packaging, but Weetabix is actually a very good source for a breakfast meal or for fiber. I think
Yeah.
it gives you about 3 grams, 3 to 4 grams. So that's a good start to your day than having cornflakes, for example. So yeah,
Yeah,
it does help.
that's not a lot if you've got to have 20 to 30 grams, though.
Yeah, so that's
in
the
a
thing.
day.
Most people do not hit their fiber intake per day, and that's because they're not having loads of fruits, loads of veg, and loads of whole grain options. So it's quite useful for you to be able to count your fiber intake. And I'll tell us how to do that towards the end of this slide. Yeah. And then for free sugars, so I don't know if you know what free sugars are, but free sugars are sugars that you find naturally in fruit juices and smoothies. So that's because they are free, they're no more attached to the cell walls of the fruit. And they're also found in things like your honey, your syrup. So you can also find free sugars there. So because consuming too much of free sugars can lead to weight gain and loads of other diseases, we want to have 30 grams per day. So when you're checking your food labels, you're going to see carbohydrates of wheat sugars. So of wheat sugars is the free sugar. So for example, in a chocolate bar, you can have close to 23 grams, and that's leading to your recommendation already. And that's why we always say try to have less of processed meals because they have high amounts of free sugars in there. Do we have any questions so far? Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Right, so we're going to be talking about how to read food labels. So food labels help us to read the nutrient content of food. So it can tell you what ingredients are found in the food package alongside many other information. So this is what a food label would usually look like. So what do you look out for in a food package?
If I'm
Red,
honest,
amber,
I don't
green.
at all.
Come again?
If I'm honest, I don't.
Okay.
I have done in the past because I think Slimming World used to encourage it, but yeah, I'm terrible. I just don't. I just go, oh, it's food. So
Okay.
this is all good for me. Very educational.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. So you're going to be able to learn how to pick better choices and how to read food labels instantly. So that's good. Anyone else? What do you look out for in food packages?
I just go straight for the calorie content.
Yeah,
me
yeah.
too.
which
Most
And the red,
people-
amber, green as well.
True,
Yeah,
true. Calorie content, yeah. So alongside calorie content, there are also some other little hidden things you should also be looking out for. Yes, it can have lower calories, but high sugar. So what's the point? So it's trying to find that balance. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. So we have three major things to look out for. So we have the traffic lights, the ingredient list, and the nutrition information. So all three of these things are quite important to note. So this is the traffic light system. Have we all seen this before? Yep. So basically your red, green, and your amber. And then for the ingredient list, it just basically tells you the ingredients that are listed in that product. And your nutritional information goes in depth to tell you how much nutrients you can find and the quantity. So yeah, these are all the three things to look out for. So let's look at them in detail. So the traffic light system tells you instantly, is this product good for me? So for example, you pick a chocolate bar and you have most reds in there, instantly you know that this product is not good for you because it has loads of reds. So it tells you how much you have per serving, so how much fats, how much saturated sugars and salts is in there. Also tells you the calorie content. So instantly you know this is what is in this package. Right. So if it's red, it means you should eat that product in small amounts. If it's amber, it's okay for you to eat it most of the time. And if it's green, you can have that product all of the time. So if you pick maybe sweet corn, for example, or your veg packets, that's going to have all green in there. And you know you can have that product most of the time. So we have a food shopping card here. So this can just tell you, just in case you don't see the traffic light system, it tells you instantly what the color is and you're able to decode it per 100 gram. So this is quite useful to note just in case you want to use it whilst you're shopping. Right, so this is an example. So we have the red grape juice and we have this pink lemonade. So looking at this two, can you try to spot out which one you should go for instantly just by looking at the traffic light system?
Yeah, lemonade, I think.
Lemonade. And why did you choose lemonade, for example?
Yeah, well, it's less calories and there's less sugar.
Yeah, very good.
Significantly. Yeah.
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 Thank you. That's a very good answer. So you can see for the grape juice, it has 14 grams of sugar. And remember, we said we should aim for 30 grams per day. So if you're picking products like this that have quite a high amount of sugar, it's very easy for you to cross your recommended intake. So between the two, this is how to be able to choose products that are better for you. So yeah, that's really correct. Thank you.
Is that still the same even if it's artificial sweeteners versus sort of real fruit juice there?
Yeah, so the thing with artificial sweeteners is not going to come up as too much sugars as compared to fruit juices. So fruit juices can tend to have more sugars than artificial sweeteners. So it's still good for you to be able to look at the packaging and see what is in there and how much it states in black and white, just so you know. Okay. Right, so we have nutritional information. So this is basically sent at the back. So it tells you how much per 100 gram or per serving. So you have things like calories, your total fats, your saturated fats, your sodium, your protein, and it also has fiber. So back to where we came from, how much fiber should you have and how should you count it? So here it tells you the dietary fiber for this particular package is 7 grams. So this is how to count your fiber intake per day. Just by looking at the food package, you can tell how much fiber or how much protein is found in that food content. Okay, and then for your ingredient list, it's usually listed from the biggest to the smallest. So if you have the first ingredient as wheat, you know that this product has quite a high amount of wheat. And if the second product listed is sugar, for example, you know that that product also has quite a high amount of sugar. So it's always good for you to note what's in the ingredient list. And then also beware of things like butter, cream, oil in the ingredient list. And sometimes they can put sugar as other forms like glucose, syrup, sucrose. So these are all forms of sugar too as well. So it's quite important for you to note that in the ingredient list. Right, so this is what it will look like. So for example, for this one, you can see that the first content here is enriched wheat flour. So that's basically the major component of that product. And then next you have sugar or glucose fructose. So that product is essentially going to have high amounts of sugar in there because it's listed from the largest to the smallest. Any questions so far? Okay, that's fine. Right, so yeah, that's everything for today. So do we have any additional questions aside from we have today?
Just a general one. I know you were saying to try and make sure that you have whole grain bread. So when you have varieties that have 50-50, are they any good for you?
Yeah, that's better than having just white.
So to avoid white is the main thing to
Yes,
do.
avoiding white is the main. So long as you're having something aside from just pure white, it still adds up to something.
Mhm.
Yeah. Stop sharing. Yep. So do we have any other questions?
I'm surprised
Tangent.
about what you said about the distinguishing between fruit and veg, because I thought it was just 5 a day of whatever you can, because I, like yourself, Pauline, I'll probably do have 5 portions, but it might only be 2 of veg and 3 of fruit, just because of my routine in the day, you know. But yeah, I'm surprised there's that distinction between the two. Is it because of the sugar intake? I was a few
Yes.
minutes late.
Yeah. So yeah, because fruits are actually good for you because they're natural, but they can have high amounts of sugar. For example, if you're having loads of grapes or loads of pineapples, for example, you don't want to have too much of that because it's still going to accumulate to the sugar
Yeah.
content for the whole day and carbs too as well. So
Yeah.
it's good for you to
Okay.
have that balance.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Thank
what
you.
are your thoughts on? I normally start the day with one of those probiotic drinks. Are they good or not? Is it a marketing gimmick?
Yeah, they can be good because they can help your gut, but just be sure to check how much sugars too are in there,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Yeah. So just like we talked about the food labels today, just check the carbohydrates of which sugars and see how much sugars are there because these manufacturers can label something as good for you, especially even with snack bars too as well, but they can have high amounts of sugar. So it's just good to see everything in black and white and know what exactly it contains.
And is that the same for, is it called kefir? I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it. Kefir. It's like a probiotic drink as well.
Yeah, just make sure to check. And if it's low in sugars, it's fine.
Can I ask about superfoods or super vegetables? Do they exist, or is it just there's a scale, some are better for you than others? Is it a marketing thing?
Yeah, I think it is, to be fair, because I think all veg should be good for you, to be fair. It's just anything for the manufacturers to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
there's a lot of information out there, and just be careful what you read. It's actually very simple and basic. So if you follow the normal principles of trying to have like a balanced diet, balanced meals, you should totally be fine.
I was just going to say about going back to your plate where it's had a third of carbs on the plate is, you know, all the fad diets, not that I contemplate, but I haven't yet done it. But they're very much about cut out your carbs. So I don't know if you may have mentioned that before I got on the call, but is that, you know, I know long term it's probably not wise, is it? Or what's the thought on the carbs, cutting out your carbs while you can?
So yeah, I talked about how having a balanced diet is the best and sustainable way to go because you can do that for the rest of your life. However,
Mhm.
with these fat diets, it can only work for a short period of time. Yes, it will give you results, but how far long can you continue with that? Your body needs carbs for you to be able to have energy, for you to be able to move and do a lot of things, even with your brain health too as well. So you find yourself going on these diets, you're seeing that you're being sluggish, you're slow. After a bit of time, you're going to lose the weight and then you get back on again to that cycle and put the whole weight back on. So just you can limit carbs to 100, 150 grams per day, but don't completely cut it out from your
Okay.
diet.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking how you would work out 100, 150 grams for potatoes, say. I don't know how you do that really.
Okay,
How
so
would you?
with have you heard of MyFitnessPal before? Yeah, so
Sorry, have I heard of it? Yes, I
Yeah.
think I had it for a little while, but
Okay,
yeah.
so MyFitnessPal would help you to count how many carbs in grams you've had throughout the whole day. So, for example, you have one jacket potato and you record that. It tells you, oh, you've had maybe, for example, 50 grams of carbs and how much you have left to be able to consume.
Oh, okay.
So, even with your carbs, it accounts with your fruits, with your oats, all of them add towards your carb intake for the whole day.
Okay.
So, I think that app can help you with that.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have a look at that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Eileen, you're right. It's it's all very well knowing the grams, isn't it? But then it's hard to actually
Quantify it.
Yeah. I guess the more that you measure it, the more used to it you get. Because I was thinking about the fiber, with that being 30 grams a day, I would have no idea how much fiber is in some fruit and vegetable. Do you have any examples of how much is in?
I can share that with you.
Yeah, that would be good. If you need to head off now, anyone, because we've gone over a little bit, then do.
Okay, that's fine.
Good to know that Weetabix is a good place to start, though.
Yes, it is.
I have to say I can't get on with honey, but we always have Weetabix with banana and semi-skimmed milk. But my daughter loves honey on it as well, and I think that wouldn't be for me. But I can't get her to do brown bread.
Yeah, some kids
Definitely
like
white
brown
bread. Yeah, that's the difficulty. Okay, that is useful.
Yeah, so this is what 30 grams of
Yeah.
fiber would look like in a
Okay.
day.
Can this be circulated for us for reference?
That's fine. I'll just add it to the current slide and then send it over.
Thank you.
82 grams from bread. Wow.
Yeah.
15 slices of bread there.
Yeah, just a slice of bread for 2 grams. And then potatoes with their skin on. Very important to note, has to be with the skin on because that's where the fiber is. And you can see what one apple gives you, 4 grams.
Yeah.
2 carrots, 6 grams. So it does add up, and it's possible to have all these throughout the whole day. Right.
Yeah. Fruit and veg looks good for that then on the whole, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, as a whole. Okay. Right. So do we have this? Are we good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah.
So I'll just add it to the slide and make sure that I send it over to Jasmine.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
And there was just one other question from Lucy. She wondered how important it is to take a multivitamin, or if that's not recommended. I don't know if you have any sort of general advice on that.
Yeah, so the thing with multivitamins, I think it's possible to get it from normal diet alone, but I know it's quite difficult because of schedules and people not having the whole overall balanced meals in general. So you can have it with all your meals, but if you're struggling, if you're busy, or if you're maybe towards the older age, like from 60s upwards, it's okay for you to have multivitamins. But I think if you're having a normal active life and eating right, it's not necessarily needed. You can still have it with your normal meals. But if you just want that additional boost of vitamins and minerals, you can have multivitamins. But I think it's possible to have it with normal meals, eating balanced meals. Unless you're pregnant or old or have some nutrient deficiency or the other.
Right, thank you.
Okay, so I think that's all for today.
Thank you.
It was
Yeah, that's
really
very
nice
helpful.
meeting
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.
Bye.
All right,
Okay,
take
Thanks very
care.
much.
Bye-bye.